Hello everyone, as this is Sri Lakshmi and here to give a short seminar and my topic is an overview of pharmacokinetics parameters. First let us know what is pharmacokinetics. Pharmacokinetics, it is divided into two words, that is pharmacon, which is nothing but a drug. Then kinetics means movement. The study that deals with movement of drug within the body is pharmacokinetics. Then this pharmacokinetic process, it involves various other processes like the absorption, distribution, metabolism, and elimination of drugs in the body. Then the absorption and distribution, it involves the rate of onset of action, whereas the metabolism or the biotransformation and elimination, it causes the extent or the duration of action. Next is my topic, that is pharmacokinetic parameters. The first process which is involved in this pharmacokinetic is the absorption, which is nothing but the movement of the drug from site of administration into the circulation. Here the parameter involved is the bioavailability. Then the distribution, which is nothing but the pattern of scatter of specified amount of drug among various locations in the body. Parameter involved is the volume of distribution, which is VD. Then metabolism, it is the enzyme catalyzed chemical transformation of drugs within living organism. Next is elimination, that is excretion of the drug metabolites outside the body. Here the parameter involved is the clearance and half-life. Next. First process is the absorption. In absorption, it involves some three processes like the drug factor, patient factors, and bioavailability. First is the drug factors. In that, it involves a concentration of drug, lipid solubility, which is the free movement across the biomembranes. This membranes, it is made up of lipid, so lipid bilayer. So the lipid solubility, for the lipid solubility, the free movement across the biomembranes takes place. For the next is the crystal form, the amorphous novobiocin, which is having a better than the crystal form. The spray dried phenofibrate, it is having the better than the crystal FFB. Next. Next is the dosage form. Vehicle is the water or oil. Disintegration, it is the breaking up of the solid form into the individual particles. Next is the dissolution, that is the disintegration of the particles to dissolve in the GI contents. Example like albendazole plus hydroxypropyl beta cyclodextrin, which is having the better disintegration and dissolution. Next is the particle size, that is the microfine griseofulvin, which is having the better than the griseofulvin. Then salt form, that is a salt of a weak acid, that is a sodium thiofibrate. Sodium tolbutamide, which is having a better than tolbutamide. Water of hydration, that is anhydrous thiofilvin, better than hydrous form. Next. Next is that is the route of administration. Parenteral versus eternal, that is intranasal midazolam for seizures in children. Then local metabolism, that is the insulin not available orally because they're degraded by intestinal brush border enzyme peptidase. Then is the local binding in subcutaneous and intramuscular injections. The patient factors that is involved, the second part is the local environment, the tannic acid over the burnt skin, which causes the liver necrosis. Then the vascularity of absorbing surface, thymolol eye drops, that is the bradycardia while ointments did not. The drops reach vascular nasal mucosa via, that is a nasolacrimal duct. The next factors of the patients is the drug-drug interaction. The antacid forms complex with tetracycline. Then the vitamin C, which favors for the iron absorption. The area of absorbing surface, that is the gentamicin, which causes the neurotoxicity in peritoneal wash. Next is the patient factor, which is specific to the oral absorption. The first one is the GI motility or the GI gastric emptying. That is a metoclopramide, which decreases the bioavailability of the digoxin and increases the bioavailability of the paracetamol. Then propanthelin, which is having the opposite effect. That is, increase the bioavailability of digoxin and decreases the bioavailability of paracetamol. Then the GI diseases, that is a celiac disease, which causes the fat malabsorption, which increases the amoxicillin absorption and decreases the cephalexin absorption. Next is the food, that is this phenytoin, it's having the better absorption after the food. That means taking after the food due to this secretion in the bile, which causes the induced secretion in bile. Next. The main parameter of this absorption is the bioavailability. That is the fraction of the drug that reaches the site of action or any biological fluids from which it gains access to the site of action or systemic circulation in the unchanged form. The practical significance in low safety margin drugs, that is the digoxin, or the precise dosage control drugs like warfarin. The bioavailability, this is the equation, that is the bioavailability is equal to the area under curve for oral by the area under curve for the IV into 100. Next is the determinants of bioavailability. That is this bioavailability, it is one of the parameter for the absorption, which causes the first pass metabolism. P-glycoprotein efflux pump is involved, then biliary excretion is caused. Next. Yeah, next coming to the second factors, that is the distribution. In this, we will deal with the volume of distribution, patient factors, that is the perfusion, physiological barriers, disease state, age and gender. The next is the drug factors like the plasma protein binding, tissue affinity, pH and ionization, lipid solubility or the redistribution, then the SAR, the structural activity relationship. Next. Under this distribution, first is a volume of distribution, which is VD, which says the apparent volume necessary to contain the amount of drug homogeneously at the same concentration which is found in plasma. VD, that is the volume of distribution, is equal to the quantity of drug that is administered by concentration of the drug. The lipid insoluble or highly protein bound drug that is restricted to the vascular compartment, which is having low volume of distribution. The drug sequestrants in other tissues has the large volume of distribution. Next. Yeah, this is the VD models. As we all know, we have the two models, that is the first compartment model and the second, that is the two compartment model. The body is in one compartment, that is the body is single or homogeneous. In two compartments, there are differential concentration among various organ systems. Next. Next is the organ perfusion rate. That is the two compartments, central, that is the plasma, and central is the plasma and highly perfused tissue reservoirs, that is the heart, brain, liver, kidney. Then the final, that is slowly perfused organs like the muscle, skin, fat, bone, etc. Next is the physiological barriers to the drug distribution. Here, first one is the blood-brain barrier, which is the endothelial cells which are tightly joined, then which is surrounded by less permeable glial cells, which are lipid soluble and their non-ionized drugs can enter. Example like L-DOPA crosses the blood-brain barrier while DOPA does not. Next. Next is the placental barrier, which allows the lipid soluble non-polar passive diffusion, and the highly molecular weight, that is the dextran and insulin, cannot cross. Next. Next comes to the disease states and the special situations like the edema, more fluid in transcellular compartment than in sepsis that causes the altered permeability to drugs following infections or inflammation of the biomembrane. Then in case of pregnancy, the added tissues and fluid volume, that is the increased volume of distribution but decreases the albumin. Then the which causes the free drug concentration. Then in unaltered, no dose change. Next is the obesity, the excessive adipose tissue, which increases the volume of distribution for lipophilic drugs like diazepam. Next one. Next factor is the age and gender. That is, the total body water differs with age and sex. The total body water of the neonates, that is almost 75 to 80% of the body weight. For adult males, 60%. Then for females, it is 55%. Then body fat content, which has a low in children and men, which decreases the volume of distribution of lipophilic drugs. The albumin, it's decreased in newborn babies and elderly ones, and increases the concentration of unbound drugs that primarily bind to albumin. Next factor is the plasma protein binding. Here it is reversibly binding, which causes a circulating the drug reservoir, and the dynamic equilibrium, that is the free drug which binds to the protein to form a drug protein complex, which are not accessible to the capillary diffusion, metabolism, or excretion. Then the extensively protein binding, which will prolong the duration of action and availability, but needs for the larger dosing. Then in albumin, that is warfarin. Then the alpha acid glycoprotein, that is the quinidine. Then transcortin, that is corticoids. Then nucleoproteins like digoxin, and etc. Next is the tissue affinity. That is the tissues. In case of thyroid, the iodine in thyroid, chloroquine in retina, or in CPZ in retinal pigment, melanin, isoniazid in brain. Then in case of muscles, digoxin in heart and skeletal muscles, connective tissues like greaseofulvin in keratin, precursor cells. Next is the transcellular. That is a chloramphenicol in aqueous humor, amino sugars in CSF, ampicillin in endolymph and joint fluid, imipramine in pleural fluids. In case of fat, that is the thiopentone and phenoxybenzamine. For bones, teeth, and nails, that is the tetracyclines and cisplastin. Then the pH and ionization, that is the weak bases or acids. The unionized in basics or in acidic pH respectively. The unionized form, which will cross the biomembranes. The plasma pH, it is basic, that is the basic drugs unionized diffuses into the cells, which has a large volume of distribution. But ICF, it is acidic, the larger fraction it is ionized and trapped in intracellular. Next, coming to the SAR, that is the structure activity relation, which causes the modification in structure, that is the profound effect on pharmacokinetics, like this phenytoin, which gets converted to phosphenetine by the addition of the phosphate at third position, that is N3 position. This causes the better solubility in IV. And also the other example is the fluoroquinolones. The position 8, it is substituted with aryl cations, which is having the affinity to the hypoxic cancer cells. Next, coming to the third factor, that is metabolism or biotransformation. Here we discuss about the pathways, consequences, internal factors determining metabolism, then the external factors. First is the pathways, that is the pathways of drug metabolisms. As we have studied the two pathways, that is the phase 1 reaction and phase 2 reaction. The phase 1 reaction, it involves with the oxidation, reduction, and hydroxylation. Whereas the phase 2 reaction, it involves a conjugation reaction for this glucuronide, N-acetyl sulfate, amino acid, methyl, glutathione, riboside, like that. Then the phase 1 reaction, they are mostly microsomal, which are involving this cytochrome P enzymes. But the phase 2 reaction, they are non-microsomal except this glucuronidation, that is glucuronide. Phase 1 reaction, which results in active or inactive metabolite. The phase 2 reaction, which are mostly inactive metabolites except this morphine glucuronide. Next is this Hoffman elimination. In this, that is the inactivation of the drug by molecular rearrangement. That is the spontaneous, it causes spontaneous, there is no enzyme is involved. Example for this is atracurium. The next is the consequences of this metabolism. First is the formation of inactive metabolites, that is the pentobarbital to hydroxypentobarbital. Then the formation of active metabolites from the inactive drug, that is nothing but the prodrug, that is the levodopa to dopamine. Then telamphicillin to ampicillin. The next case is the formation of active metabolites from equally active metabolites. Example, that is the codeine to morphine, amitriptyline. What is that, ma'am?
Amitriptyline to nortriptyline.
Okay. Next is the determinants of the drug metabolism. Here we study about these two factors, that is the internal factors and the external factors. First is the internal factors. In that, the first case is the age. That the neonates, they have low microsomal enzymes. Example like this chloramphenicol, which causes gray baby syndrome. And elderly, they have reduced hepatic flow. The second case is race. That is the Chinese, they have high alcohol dehydrogenase, but they have the low aldehyde dehydrogenase. The third one is a genetic variation. Here the slow and fast acetylators of this isoniazide, which are the autosomal recessive. Next is a typical pseudo cholinesterase for SCH. They are autosomal recessive. Next, coming for the external factors. Next one. External factors here, first one is the environment, which deals about this disease, that is the liver diseases or cardiac diseases, which will decrease the blood flow to liver, and the hypothyroidism, which will decreases the metabolism. Next is the nutrition and diet, that is the high proteins and poor carbohydrates, which will enhances the metabolism. Then starvation, it inhibits the microsomal enzymes. Then the third one is the drug-drug interaction, that is by stimulating or inhibiting this SER development. The enzyme induces like this rifampicin, anticonvulsants. Then this enzyme inhibitors, that is the erythromycin, valproate, etc. Then coming to the final factor, that is elimination. Here we'll talk about this clearance, elimination kinetics, half-life, route of elimination, renal excretion and determinants, and the centrohepatic circulation and breast milk. Next is, here we are coming for the clearance. First is clearance. Here, clearance is the volume of the biological fluid which is completely clear to the drug per unit time. The clearance of the drug by organs, it is additive. That is, clearance is equal to the clearance of the renal plus hepatic and the other routes. Then the kinetics of elimination, it can also follow the first order kinetics, zero order kinetics, and the mixed order kinetics. Next is the first order kinetics. Here the constant fraction of the drug that is eliminated at fixed interval of time. This is the fixed dose. Then the clearance, which remains constant as the time interval is increasing, the clearance remains constant as the dosage is also increasing. And the formula for this is the clearance is equal to the rate of elimination by the concentration of the drug, that is ml per minute per kg. Next is the steady state concentration. Steady state concentration, that is at fifth
half-life.
Yes, ma'am. At steady state concentration, at the fifth half-life, 97% of the drug is eliminated. As ma'am said, that this steady state concentration is very important. And here, as the concentration of the plasma concentration increases versus the time, there is a slight increase in the graph as the time increases. If a fixed dose of a drug, it is given at the end of every half-life, that is by fifth T half, the plasma concentration reaches a plateau. Yeah. Yes. Then next is zero order kinetics, that is a constant quantity of a drug, it is eliminated at a fixed time interval. Then here the clearance will decreases with the dose increment. So here we get a straight line. Then the clearance is Vm into Km plus C. Vm is the maximum rate of elimination, that is mass per time, and Km is the concentration at which the half maximal rate of elimination reached. Then C is concentration of a drug. The next is the mixed order kinetics. Here the that is the Michaelis and Menten kinetics or the saturation kinetics. The next is the zero order at low doses. These are the some cases. The zero order at higher doses, then the metabolizing enzyme gets saturated at higher concentrations. Next, coming to the elimination constant. It is the fraction of volume of distribution that is cleared per unit time. Here the slope of a straight line that is obtained by plotting this log plasma concentration against time. We get a straight line. Then for this elimination constant is equal to the log 2 by T half, or it is also given in other terms, that is the clearance by volume of distribution. Next is half-life. Half-life, it is the time duration in which the plasma concentration of the drug which falls by 50%. That is, the biological half-life is the time duration in which the pharmacological effect which falls by 50. That means it falls 50 from the initial concentration. T half for one compartment model, it is given as that is 0.693 by K. K, it is the elimination constant. Then T half for two compartment model, it is 0.693 into VSS, that is this volume of a drug at steady state by clearance. Next, the routes of drug elimination. These are the various routes where the drugs gets eliminated, like such as hair, saliva, milk, sweat, skin, biliary, renal, like that. Next is the renal excretion. As you all know, the renal excretion takes place by these three processes, and they are the glomerular filtration, active tubular secretion, and passive tubular reabsorption. Yeah. Next, coming to the determinants of renal excretion. First is a glomerular filtration. Here the molecular size up to this 20 KD can be filtered. Then the protein bound drug cannot be filtered, and the renal blood flow. Then next is a tubular secretion, that is the drug pH, two independent carrier system for acidic and basic drugs. The competitive inhibition among the acidic drugs, that is the probenecid, it inhibits the tubular secretion of penicillin or amoxicillin. That is amox 3 gram oral plus 500 mg. Probenecid, it's a treatment for this syphilis. Next is the determinants. It's a continuation. That is a tubular reabsorption, which are the lipid solubility. The quaternary ammonium salts and aminoglycosides, they are highly polar and cannot be reabsorbed. Then the ionization constant, that is pKa and pH of urine. The urine is acidic. Acidic, that is the weak acids, they are non-ionized and they are reabsorbed. Vice versa for this weak bases, that is the alkanization of this urine, the reabsorption of weak bases like warfarin. Next is the strong acids and bases, they are ionized at all pH and are not reabsorbed. The disease states which is caused is the chronic renal failure. Next is the dosing adjustment. The dosing adjustment in the renal failure, it affects the three stages of this renal excretion. Not only that, it also affects this renal metabolism and bioactivation, volume of distribution, non-renal clearance, the protein binding. Yeah. Next is the dosing adjustment that is based on the creatinine clearance, Cockcroft, that is this Galt equation. Next is the biliary excretion. That is, it is an enterohepatic circulation which will prolong the drug action by activation of this prodrug, that is the digitoxin. Then it will reverses the inactivation of inactivated metabolite of active drug for this glucuronides. Next, it's this breast milk excretion, that is unwanted pharmacological actions on a nursing infant, which will depends on the pH partition principle. Bases, they are generally avoided, that is the warfarin, chloramphenicol, tetracycline, and OCT. Yeah, and let's see the summary, the overall summary what we have studied. in this session, that is the absorption. The main parameter for this is the bioavailability. The factors which affects this bioavailability is the concentration, dosage forms, lipid solubility, particle size, salt, or the crystalline form, water of hydration. The next is the patient-related factor, that is the GI contents, transit time, disease state, first pass metabolism, route, areas, and vascularities. The second is the distribution. The parameter is volume of distribution. The factors which affects is the patient factor, that is the organ perfusion rate, physiological barriers, disease states, age and gender. Then the drug factors like the plasma protein binding, tissue affinity, pH and lipid solubility. The third factor is the metabolism. Here the factors affects is the internal and external factors. Internal factor is age, race, genetics, and external factors, that is the diet, drug intake, that is the induction or inhibition of this microsomal enzymes, and disease states. Fourth is the elimination. Parameter is the clearance and half-life. Factor affecting is the glomerular factors, in that the molecular size, protein binding or unbound fraction, and blood flow to kidney. Then the tubular factors, that is the urinary pH and ionization constant, drug pH and lipid solubility. The last is the disease states, that is the renal failure. Thank you.
Okay, very good, Sri Lakshmi. So you've given us an overview of what is happening in pharmacokinetics and what are the pharmacokinetic parameters involved. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So we discussed about what is pharmacokinetics, the movement of drugs within the body by the process of ADME, and how the absorption and distribution are responsible for rate of onset of action. Once the drug gets into the blood, only the onset of action occurs, and that rate depends on how fast the drug is absorbed or distributed. And then biotransformation and elimination, they give the extent and duration of, they determine the extent and duration of action. So once the drug is metabolized, biotransformation is a synonym for metabolism. So you can say biotransformation and excretion, actually. Both these together are called elimination, metabolism and excretion. So these determine the extent or duration of action of the drug. So while absorption and distribution decide what will be the rate of onset of action, biotransformation or metabolism and excretion determine the extent and duration of action of the drug. So there are pharmacokinetic parameters are very important when you are giving a dose of a drug, because we decide what dose has to be given at what time interval, like we discussed in the dosage regimen and in multiple dosing. So it depends on these parameters depend on the ADME of the drug. For example, the bioavailability is related to absorption. VD is a pharmacokinetic parameter. VD is the volume of distribution, how much drug has been distributed in a particular volume. And it depends on the distribution. So the VD will be similar to the how much drug is distributed in the plasma. So it's a hypothetical volume. You are assuming it is it's an hypothetical volume, the apparent volume of distribution. Then there is metabolism. There are phase 1 and phase 2 reactions. So once the drug is absorbed, it is distributed, metabolized, and then it is eliminated. So the pharmacokinetic parameters related to elimination are clearance and half-life. So clearance is how much of the drug is cleared from the body fluid, how much ml is cleared per minute, unit of ml per time. So, and half-life is also another important pharmacokinetic parameter, which depends on the elimination. So it's also called the elimination half-life. So once the drug reaches half the amount of its initial we need to know what is the time taken for the drug to reach half its initial amount. So all the pharmacokinetic parameters depend on these ADMEs. So in case of absorption, we discussed about what are the factors affecting absorption, such as the drug-related factors. For example, what is the concentration of drug? It will determine the, whether the drug can move through bioactive or passive diffusion. So lipid solubility, we know that lipid soluble unionized drugs can easily cross the biomembrane. Similarly, the crystalline forms also determine the absorption. The amorphous forms of the drug is better absorbed than the crystalline form. Similarly, spray-dried drugs may be better absorbed than the crystalline form of certain drugs. Similarly, the dosage form factors also in like vehicle disintegration, dissolution, these affect the absorption, particle size, salt form of the drug, water of hydration. Patient-related factors also affect the absorption. Bioavailability is the fraction of drug which reaches the site of action or systemic circulation in the unchanged form to give its action, therapeutic action. So bioavailability is 100% for the IV route, and it depends on the, so if oral bioavailability will be naturally lesser because of the hepatic first pass metabolism. So there are different determinants of bioavailability. And next VD that is another pharmacokinetic parameter, that is volume of distribution, and depends on how the drug is distributed. So there is a definition for apparent volume of distribution. That is the apparent volume necessary to contain the amount of drug homogeneously as the same concentration found in the plasma. So that is the volume of distribution. There is a formula for VD. VD equals X by C. I discussed in the previous class, where X will be the quantity of the drug administered or the dose given, divided by C, or the plasma concentration of the drug. You need to know this equation. Just note it down. VD equals X by C is an important. So some drugs have low volume of distribution. For example, if they are lipid insoluble or highly protein bound drugs, naturally they will have a low volume of distribution. The drugs are sequestered to other tissues, they may have a high volume of distribution. We also discussed about one compartment and two compartment modeling. So in one compartment model, we assume the body as a single compartment. You can see here the picture. Though ideally, when you give a drug, it is not equally distributed in all the organs in the same amount and rate. But in this kind of modeling approach, we are assuming the body as a single homogeneous compartment. You can see before administration and after administration. In the one compartment model, it is assumed that the drug is homogeneously distributed all throughout the body. While in a two compartment model, you are differentiating. We know that actually in some places the concentration of the drug will be more, or it may distribute rapidly in the highly perfused organs like the liver, lungs, and heart. So those compartments which consist of the highly perfused tissues, or they are the organs. It is called the central compartment. And the organs in which the drug slowly perfuses or distributes, like the muscle, skin, fat, bone, adipose tissue, all these can be regarded as the peripheral compartment. So in a two compartment model, we usually have a central and a peripheral compartment. So you are assuming that so in a one compartment open model, you assume that the drug is getting into the central compartment and eliminated also from the central compartment. It is unidirectional. That is why it's called one compartment open model. While and it distributes in the peripheral compartment. Also, it returns back to the after distribution. Once the equilibration is achieved, it goes back to the central compartment. So we have different barriers for distribution of drugs, like the blood-brain barrier, placental barrier. So also disease conditions can affect the distribution, and age, gender, plasma protein binding. These, only the free drug can give its action, or the unbound drug. So usually there some drugs, they have an affinity for proteins like albumin. Albumin is the most abundant protein, then globulin. So if the drug binds with the protein, there is a drug protein complex which is formed. It's a reversible reaction. So it acts as a reservoir for the drug. Slowly it can release the drug. Okay, so tissue affinity, pH and ionization, SARs, these all affect the distribution. In metabolism, there are basically phase 1 and phase 2 reaction. Phase 1 is oxidation, reduction, hydroxylation. Phase 2 reactions are conjugation reactions. So there are different factors which affect metabolism. Then another important pharmacokinetic parameter is clearance and half-life of the drug. Clearance is the volume of biological fluid from which the drug is completely cleared for unit time. And steady state concentration is to be achieved when you are giving a multiple dose of a drug. It is usually achieved in 5 half-lives. So half-life is the time for the drug to become half of its initial concentration. So we learned about first order kinetics, zero order and mixed order kinetics also. And what is the elimination constant?